Welcome to the guided tour of Puoju Parish and the ironworks of Raseborg. It consists of three parts: Puoju past and present, Fiskar's ironworks, and Svartå. This tour has been funded by Västnyländska Kultursamfundet as an EU project. Svartå Manor. Svartå, in Finnish Mustio, has been inhabited ever since the Stone Age. In written records, Svartå was first mentioned in 1351. Water power in Svartå has been used commercially for saws and mills since the 15th century. In 1560, a smelting plant for iron was founded at the rapids of Svartå by Duke John of Sweden. The iron forging remained here until 1901, when pulp production started. Today, metal goods are manufactured at the Svartå factory. In the middle of the 18th century, Svartå for the first time met an owner by the name of Linder. Magnus Linder married the daughter of the owner at the time. Their son Magnus Linder built the wooden manor from 1783 to 92. The architecture of the manor house represents the transition period from Rococo to Neoclassicism, and the furniture and the interior was originally in what in Finland is called the Gustavian style, similar to that of Louis XVI. The manor house is one of the largest non-ecclesiastic wooden buildings in Finland, and it was also the first house in Finland built with double mouth-blown glass windows. The park of the manor house was originally designed in the Baroque style in the late 18th century. Fridolf Linder, the country squire who lived here in the late 19th century, was very interested in rare trees, and so he renewed the park in the English style and planted some exotic trees, for instance a cork tree and 2 American walnut trees which still bear fruit. The white annex of the manor house was built in 1840 and extended a few decades later following the plans of architect Albert Edelfelt the Elder, the father of the great Finnish painter. Today it accommodates hotel rooms. The workers' accommodation buildings on the Park Hill, as well as the entrance gate, the stables and the carriage shed, were built in the 19th century in the neo-Gothic style. The lower part of the granary is from the early 18th century. All the buildings by the main village street, or the ironworks street, and the blacksmith street originate from the late 18th century or the beginning of the 19th century. The present Svartå church was finished in 1761, replacing the old one from the end of the 17th century. The most colourful squire of Svartå was the chamberlain Hjalmar Linder, 1862 to 1921, who was the richest man of his time, and apart from his vast properties he also owned 7 cars before World War I. Svartå Manor is still today owned by the Linder family. However, in 1940 the foundry and the landed estate was sold to a local company, but in December 1985 Magnus Linder, the nephew of Hjalmar Linder, bought Svartå Manor house back to the family. Extensive restorations took place and the park was put in order. A neo-Gothic terrace was built and the lost pavilions re-emerged. An artificial stream, a water lily pond, a water lily path, and a waterfall have been added to the park. Today Svartå Manor is a countryside hotel with a restaurant and conference facilities. The manor building is a museum open to the public. One of the most renowned ghosts of Svartå Manor, the so-called White Lady, was Charlotta Hisinger from Fagervik, married to Marshal of the Realm, Duke Maurits Axel Levenhaupt. She had feeble nerves and was often sent to her sister at Svartå, where she sometimes was locked in a small room by the kitchen stairs on the 2nd floor. She died in this room and is said to wander in the great ballroom carrying 2 candles. She is also reported to have been seen by the church and on the banks of Svartå stream. You will find the opening hours, guided tours and current information about Svartå Manor at www.mustionlinna.fi.